The all-new Palisade is here. You're losing horsepower and torque, you're losing clearance, you're gaining 2 power options, but is it better than the competition? I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and we're gonna touch bases on some pros and cons to really see if this all-new variant is the way to go for a third-row SUV. We're showcasing the 2026 Hyundai Palisade Calligraphy in creamy white, which is an upgraded color. Now you have 10 different colors to choose from, 7 different trims to choose from. The interior is gonna have the beige light and navy light. Now going on to the exterior components, what we've lost is clearance. We're now at 7.4 inches instead of the 7.9 inches. When you go to the XRT Pro, which is a new name for the XRT, that increases 1 inch of clearance. The front fascia is gonna be wider, more boxy, and more dominant. It sits up. You have vertical LED daytime runnings, LED headlights. That's standard on all trims. The grille is going to change on the Calligraphy, and on the XRT Pro, it's going to be all black. The lower gets the satin aluminum with a new active grille shutter that's going to be stationed on the lower. This is literally like a Santa Fe picked up and more dominant. And it still kind of has that Defender vibe. It's like a 21st century SUV, but it didn't go futuristic, so I appreciate that. House underneath the hood is also what I appreciate, because we're keeping a V6, it's naturally aspirated. They did change it though, it's a 3.5 liter. And now we're pumping out 287 horsepower opposed to the 291 horsepower that we had. We also get 260 pound-feet of torque, which is 2 pound-feet of torque less. But we also get an 8-speed automatic transmission, so no dual wet clutch automatic transmission here. So when you're thinking about the Santa Fe, does this really bring competition? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. This is a front-wheel drive configuration. It's achieving 19 mpgs for the city, 25 mpgs for the highway. You actually lose 1 mpg going this over the 2025. So it's not really about getting better mpgs. It's about giving us an all-new vehicle, but it's keeping the same McPherson strut front suspension and a multi-link rear suspension. But the twist is now we have a hybrid variant that gets up to 619-mile range with the 2.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, and that's pumping out 329 horsepower. So if you feel like you've lost horsepower and torque, which we did, it's not gonna change too much in the drive, which you're gonna see. You go that route and you get over 30 mpges combined. Plus you're getting 339 pound-feet of torque, but it decreases your towing to 4,000 pounds opposed to the 5,000 pounds, which is the same as the prior. The wheels are gonna start off as an 18-inch wheel. It goes up into a 21-inch wheel because we have the Calligraphy. The Limited will be a 20-inch, and the XRT Pro will have their own unique 18-inch wheel. The sweet spot to the new Palisade is really more at the XRT trim, and I would say the Limited, because you're getting a lot of bells and whistles, and you can get this a little bit over 50 grand. That is crazy for a third-row variant, and also the SE is the only trim you can get 8-passenger configuration, which means you get a bench for the second row. When you go to any other trim on the ICE variant, it's gonna have captain seat configuration, but there's a twist, which you're gonna see in the interior, so just wait for that, because it blows me away what Hyundai has done to this interior of the Palisade. But when you go into the SEL Premium for the hybrid, you can get the bench configuration. Kind of wish that they gave us a little bit more ways to a la carte it, but in the same category, they gave so much updates, I'm all right with it, because look at Honda. The Pilot is not gonna be comparable to this. The length of this, for what you're getting in the interior that you're gonna see, it by far blows it away. More soft materials, and they don't put the matte black that's gonna be around the fenders. This is the same color as the body. They carry that on with the two-tone, you get the satin aluminum on the lower. Rework side view mirrors, we still get LED lights that's gonna be implemented. These are power folding, as you can see, and we have blind spot view monitoring. Toyota, Mazda, none of those vehicles have that. What is that feature? It uses the camera that's on these side view mirrors when you use your indicators, and a lot of people in the state of Florida and probably all over the US and world don't use their indicators. But if you do, now the camera is gonna project on the digital gauge reader, and now you don't have to look off the road. Everything is right in front of you, plus you still get blind spot monitoring, lane keep assist, forward assist, collision avoidance, rear cross traffic alert, on top of refreshing and adding more airbags, because we have 10, the safety goes another notch, because in the rear, you not only have rear occupants alert, but you also have a sensor here for pedestrians, as well as cyclists and motorists, which means if they're coming and you're about to open the door, it's gonna auto lock the rear door so you don't lose your door. What freaking car does this? Hyundai's literally thinking about things that I would love to see in the Germans. Maybe they need to wake up. I mean, what do you guys think? Oh yeah, and if you're new to the channel, click the subscribe button because we always bring the latest, greatest vehicles and we try to showcase them as soon as we get our hands on them. And also click the like button. All this stuff helps with the algorithm. The rear gets new vertical LED taillights that's standard on all trims with the new center light bar. It's LED on the lower roof spoiler, plus you're getting a digital rear view mirror going into the Calligraphy, which you're not going to be getting with Honda. You do get it with Nissan and Toyota, but there's a premium that's going to be more than this. Now Nissan's going to tow more still, which is a con here because they did so much updates. Even the roof rails are raised so you can put tie downs. I mean, they're literally thinking about a day in and day out use. Now you also receive a front and rear dash camera going into the Calligraphy trim. So you don't have to go into an aftermarket store to do that and have your car there for hours for them to run it through the system and God forbid mess up your electrical. Everything's done. This is out of the box. You just drive the car, put gas in it. The lower is going to lose the dual exhaust that's exposed. The satin aluminum wraps around the whole vehicle. And whether you go ICE or hybrid, no dual clutch automatic transmission. So when people are complaining about, oh, well, what about the longevity of Hyundais? They got the best warranty in class. They have the most sophisticated features in class. You also have smart park. You lock the door. You auto start the vehicle. Turn the key fob on the side and you can move it forward and reverse. The nice thing about this is if you're in a tight position because somebody parked really close to you at a grocery store, well, now you can move it in or out without scratching the doors because you would hit somebody because they parked too close to you. This feature works about 10 to 15 feet away from the vehicle, so you can still use the auto start stop inside your apartment, heat up the vehicle if you live in a colder environment, then when you come out, just simply use this, and now you have a valet service. And with the Calligraphy, this is a nice feature. You have the key fob here. You're gonna notice as I walk in this area, so it doesn't matter if it's the passenger side or the driver's side. As long as you got the key fob next to you, it's going to have the smart tailgate. So what that means is while we're walking here, you should see a light indicate. If it doesn't, hate to say go back and do it again, but that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna come back here, I'm gonna walk a little ways. Sometimes it takes a few seconds for these features. I mean, it is a computer car more or less. Walk by the vehicle, again, not touching the key fob, not touching it. Now when we come to this area here, you should hear a beep and the light should click, and they're still not doing it. With the key fob, walking next to the vehicle, in this perimeter, right here is what it says to do. Keep it kind of close. You don't have to be as close as I am. There it is. Now when you walk here, look at what's gonna happen. I'd never touched the key fob, and you still have power liftgate that goes into 19.1 cubic feet of storage, which is 1.1 cubic feet more than the prior. You get a 12 volt. You got a lot of mechanics right here, which we'll explain in a second. Underneath the floor, you have storage that you can have that privacy cover. Now you could do a one button for all of them. So you could just hit all, but in this case, we're gonna do one by one. So that way you can see the third row at a 60-40 split. That's gonna maximize cargo now to 46.3 cubic feet, which is 0.5 cubic feet more than the prior. And for the captain seats, just push them down like that. It's also going to adjust the front seats so that way it will make sure it has enough room to maximize 86.7 cubic feet, which is 0.3 cubic feet more than the prior. Hyundai has thought of it all. So when you push this, look at this. They all fold up and they all fold down by one push of a button. The key fob to the all-new Palisade. 18-way power seat adjustment for the driver, heated ventilated ergo motion seats, Calligraphy in Bose, contrast stitch and piping perforated Napa leather. This also folds out to be like a lazy boy, and you can get that on the limited trim. The limited will have leather as well as heated ventilated. The XRT will have the H-Tech seats, memory for the driver. And look at the updates that you get in the interior. The one thing that I like a lot is how all of the infotainment and the gauge cluster is actually in this dashboard. I am setting up a little bit more so. We have a little storage here as well as look at how much space you have opening up the glove box. These seats also recline the same way as the front as the driver, except you do lose two-way power seat adjustment. You get a pass-through 12-volt on that side with a storage area here. The UVC button is going to be here, but it's not going to be there like the Santa Fe. It's going to be inside here. That will sanitize anything that you put in this glove or the center console. The push-button start is now on the steering column. Let's fire it up. Now it is raining. We got the digital rear view mirror, home link, auto dimming rear view mirror, LED interior lights. You get a moonroof and a panel moonroof when you go into the Calligraphy and the limited trim. This is the best part though, how everything is more seamless. You still receive a 12.3 informational display that can go through an array of different content, as well as Hyundai Pay. You also slide this down and you have your quiet mode, your passenger talk, which is similar to Honda, but they don't go this extra level. When you go into quiet mode, look what it does to the sound. Literally cuts it in half. This, you just click onto here, and you can talk through the speakers, and everybody can hear you in the back. So now you don't have to yell at kids in the back if you're that type of person. Slide this back open, and you also have a dash cam because this is the Calligraphy. Check this out. I'm going to click onto here so you can see what it looks like. Takes a few seconds. Now we're going to go into here. This was a picture that was taken because it was raining crazy, and this is live. So you see the front and the rear. You don't have to worry. Everything is right out of the box here. Put it into reverse. You get a 360-degree reverse camera. Click onto the sub-menu you got for the towing, you got for the sides, as well as the whole back. When you click here, you have your digital camera, so you could go all around the vehicle. Plus, you can see everything here in the gauge cluster, all the sensors. And when you use your blind spot monitoring or your indicators, you can see that here on the side. I think this just blows me away with safety. You can also click right here on the fly so that way you can see everything too. You still have physical buttons. Tri-climate control setting is standard, and this is a touchpad. 100 watts USB-C ports. You get 2 of them up here with the wireless charging pad that starts on the SEL. Check out the leg space that you have, as well as the headroom. It's increased. I have about 5 to 6 inches. I'm at 6'3". The leg space also increases. The gear lever is now in the steering column, so it frees up the space here. With the new steering wheel, leather wrap, multi-function, it's also heated. You get the paddle shifts, and in the gauge cluster, you can go through an array of different content for the driver. In the center will be a 4.2 informational display when you go into the SE trim. In order to change the layout, you go over here, hit setup, go into screen layout, and then click onto your gauge. So that way you can change the style, and you can also change the graphics. Door panel and dash, it configures it together. More premium upscale materials. Heads-up display, that's going to come on the Calligraphy only. 14 speakers through Bose. Soft materials here. Open up, one touch up and down for all the windows. Acoustic front windows and front windscreen. A long grab handle. 2 cup or beverage holder and a little storage sleeve here. And you still have some physical buttons in order to turn the auto start, stop off, and to open the tailgate. For the back seats, this is the opening that you have to fit 2 more with the captain seat configuration. We have manual sun shades. The door card's going to have the same materials that's found in the front, except here it's going to have cloth materials, a large grab handle that you can fit a larger smartphone. You can still fit a smaller one here with a cup or beverage holder. You get another one down through here. 8-way power seat adjustment. That is insane for the second row. These will adjust to your head like a pillow. That's things that's in BMW, Mercedes. Sitting behind me, the seats are carved out. You have storage, and you have 2 more 100-watt USB-C ports. So charging is going to be super fast with the home plug. Pull this open, and you got a storage bin, a full pass-through, and these are captain seats, so you got the armrest here. Third climate control, it's going to be up here, heated, ventilated second row seats. Look at where the air vents are. And for the third row access, very simple. Push the button, it's going to electronically move forward. I've also adjusted that seat so you can see that lazy boy style sitting into the back seats, and that way you can see the space for third row occupants. That's how much room you have to enter. 6'3", how am I going to look? I shouldn't be back here. 2 cup holders. Another set of 100-watt USB-C ports, 4-way power seat adjustment, and heated third row seats. Now look at this. So you can adjust this back. That's kind of standard on luxury vehicles. But look at this. You can adjust this back, and it goes back like 1 inch to 2 inches. Literally, that's almost 3 inches more leg space than you would normally get. So if I was sitting back here, I still wouldn't have enough leg space, but you get where I'm going at, and that's on both sides. fold this back so that way you can see. While we're waiting, look at the headroom that I have. Now when I recline this back more, now I have another inch or two. So they literally give you about an inch or two more with each adjustment, plus leg space. I still have some of it. If I'm sitting into the center, I'm gonna be sharing a ton of leg space. I'm gonna just stretch it out. That way I don't share the feet space, but butt and shoulder space is gonna be compromised because this bulges out. Just one thing to keep in mind, don't put me in the center. I'm at 6'3". I still have plenty of headroom because it's carved out back here. 287 horsepower, 260 pound-feet of torque with this new 3.5 liter naturally aspirated V6. You heard me correct. Now we do lose 4 horsepower, 2 pound-feet of torque, but that's a sacrifice that I'm willing to take, especially considering I'm getting a naturally aspirated V6. We're gonna throw it into sport mode so we can see how the performance is on this. And it's not a performance vehicle, but just to see if there's a difference. Throw it into normal. You don't hear anything. The sound deadening has taken care of all of that. 21-inch wheels, feels comfortable. Maneuverability, you can get in and out of lanes easy, and you see there's not much movement to the steering. Feels a little bit more artificial, but it still has a little bit of weight to it, so I appreciate that. So you're gonna feel some of the imperfections with this steering, and that's a good thing, because if you have something wrong with your tire, you're gonna know about it. Blind spot view monitoring, as you notice, I use the indicators. When you do that, you see it on the gauge cluster. 14-inch heads-up display. I mean, by far, Hyundai is taking it to another level. It's gonna take me to some pros and cons, starting off with the pros. No vehicle has 100-watt USB-C ports, and they have 6 of them. No vehicle right now has this in the dashboard. No vehicle has it cleaned up here in the center, and it's not so much techified and glossy black everywhere that's going to just leave fingerprints and look dirty. No vehicle is adding this much extra premium materials. And look, get a digital rear view mirror. You don't get this with a BMW. That is crazy what Hyundai is giving. On top of that, for the first and second row, you got lazy boy seats. The third row, you can move them back from the butt area. You can't do that with any vehicle right now at all. Turn radius at a stop point. Let's throw it into sport mode. 2 lanes, let's rock and roll. That's what happens when you have no turbos. It's going to move at a different pace, but I like it. It still feels pretty good when you're in sport mode. The con is when you're in a regular mode, it can feel heavy, it can feel long at that particular point. I like the new side view mirrors. I like the interior a lot. The exterior, I like the boxy styling, because even though we lose 0.5 inches of clearance, look at this. It looks like we're taller off the ground than the 2025 Palisade. How did they pull that off? Well, they lifted up the front overhang, or the hood, and they also decreased this by over an inch, so it's not as long, so I don't feel like I'm in one of those old Cadillacs or Lincolns. Braking on the vehicle, if you really need to, you can stop on a dime. It doesn't feel heavy there. We also now have a hybrid trim, so they're ticking the box to everything, going against competition. Honda, what the hell's going on? Because they don't have as much soft materials that's going to be found through the interior of the cabin, nor do they have this, nor do they have this integrated into the dashboard. Toyota, the same thing, hard materials. You're going to have some, don't get me wrong. We're not at that level where you're spending $70,000, $80,000. You're under 60 grand and you're capturing all this, but they make it feel more luxurious in the cabin. That is where surpasses everybody. Mazda has premium materials. The seats are going to be a little bit more comfortable. Even here is going to be more comfortable for your arms to rest. But then on the third row, you have no leg room. You got no headroom. This takes the box. This ticks the box. I'm a little bit long, so I'm going to just move my head so you can see. I can rest my knees on the side door card or here if I'm going on a long journey. The adaptive cruise control lane keep assist is by far better than all the competition because it can go about 2 miles without being engaged. You're also spending less money going here than Honda, than Toyota. Go into a Grand Highlander. You're going to be spending over $60,000. Go into a Highlander, you're not going to have as much room in the third row. Now, I'm not trying to sell the vehicle. I'm just saying, look at what Hyundai is bringing to the table, because no one else is doing this, not even luxury or premium vehicles. And when I'm talking about luxury and performance vehicles, obviously they tick the box of the performance and they go that extra step. But BMW, Audi, Mercedes, they actually need to look at this and learn a little bit. And I hate to say it that way because I'm a huge fan of all three of those companies. But come on. I mean, when you're integrating screens everywhere, gloss black everywhere, you don't even add carbon fiber. Now I get it, they don't have it here, but we're under 60 grand and we're getting more than those vehicles for something that can be used on a daily use. Now, obviously performance, it's no question, and I'm not comparing them to those vehicles. I'm just stating, I wish that they would take some of this and implement it into the Germans, because then by far those vehicles would be amazing. Sound deadening too, it outbeats everybody. Nissan is good, and I like them. The sound deadening is not going to be as great as this. It's going to beat them with towing capabilities. But overall, plush materials, it's going to be between Nissan and Mazda for the seat, because these are going to be a little bit more firm. But hands down, for everything that Hyundai is captured with this new Palisade, I think it is one of the best. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out this next video right here.